Salutations everyone, and welcome to my recap and analysis of Super Smash Con 2016 on the Wii U side of things, where Nairo emerged victorious, getting back to form. Some people say he's been struggling for a while. He really hasn't. He's had a bad last couple of tournaments. He was seeded 9th in this tourney, and he was able to bring it about against the best, besting DeBuzz in Grand Finals, who got 2nd place. Mr.R with 3rd. Mr. Consistency, but consistency is not good enough for him. He really wants to win a national, and he has definitely deserved more than enough chances to do so, but unfortunately could not close it out this time against DeBuzz. And then you have Void, your other Sheik player, making a 4th place appearance. And then you got your Mega Man Scat with the 5th place, also Ally with 5th place as well. Then you have Fatality with that Captain Falcon getting a nice 7th place, his highest finish at a national of this caliber. And then Abadongo rounding out top 8. And then in 9th place we got Mars, 6WX, Rio, and MVD. And then in 13th you got Tweak, Anti, Saj, and Zero, making his worst results in a tournament. So we start off with the theme of this tournament, and that was upsets. Smash 4, really balanced roster, a lot of great players coming out of nowhere, getting better, and you know, the balances of characters, it's great. So upsets are in abundance, and there were a lot of upsets just in pools. Zero lost to Day, Anti lost to True Blue, Abadongo lost to Rich Brown, Ally lost to Seagull Joe. These were all 2-1s, none of these were 2-0s, but they were pretty surprising, each and every one of these losses from players that you would expect to be in top 5, top 8, you know, each and every single time. And speaking of upsets and almost upsets, let's start off with talking about your boy Fatality, finishing 7th place. Like I said, his highest placing in a tourney with this many great players, outplacing many of whom you might have higher than him in rankings. So he beats DK Will, he beats True Blue, whom beat Anti, Master Raven, and then he almost beats Void 2-3. Then he goes on to beat Mars like a goddamn madman, scooping him up twice with up air, once into knee, the other into up tilt, and that's just the first game. I mean, 2 scoops, like he's working at Baskin Robbins, putting the cherry on top. He did that in under a minute. He was then in a real close set against DeBuzz, losing 2-3 after starting it off 2-0 against the Rosalina, but that's why DeBuzz has Olimar, and DeBuzz got the reverse 3-0 on that.
Faster than— oh my god! No! Fatality, stop!
Yeah, somebody ban this man.
Stop!
Ban him.
You know what you
That should not
did!
be allowed. That shouldn't be allowed.
You know what you did, Fatality!
Go to your room.
So because of all these upsets, Losers was an absolute minefield. So in early as Losers round 2, we got Ally versus Zero. Zero looks to have this one early on. Easily took game 1 and had a huge lead in game 2, but Ally just jabbed Diddy off stage and nared him right out of the jetpack and straight up Grand Theft Auto the crap out of that game from Zero. Just straight stealing it. Game 3, Ally just having taken the wins out of Zero's sails, took it to him, finding openings to get those kills, not letting up, and taking the 2 stock, putting Zero on tilt for game 4. And that sent Zero to go to Cloud off of his Diddy, which I think absolutely plays in Ally's favor. Zero's Pocket Cloud is just that. It's a pocket. I don't think I've ever seen him win with it. Ally beats better Clouds than Zero's on a pretty good basis, and this was no difference. Ally just took it. Zero couldn't get anything going, didn't get the correct spacing, and Ally took him off stage where all Clouds go to die, finishing it all off with an up smash. Now with Diddy, we saw Zero make no attempts really at using the banana. We know that Mario's really good with the banana because he's got that cape. So that part of Zero's game, he shouldn't have, you know, that sort of emphasis on, but he was converting great things off of his aerials early on, but I guess that Gimp just got to him, and that allowed Ally to pull into his now comfy parking space for beating Zero, because this marks his 4th win in a row against him, and Zero's lowest placing ever in a national, 13th. And that brings us to Ally versus Abadongo. So we get this matchup earlier than we thought as well. settling the 1-1 tie that they've had this year. Now, Ally thinks Mewtwo wins this matchup, and I kind of have to say I agree. Mewtwo has the range to keep Mario out with those aerials and his tilts. He can challenge him in the air. He's got the Shadow Ball. Now, you might say Mario has the Cape, but Mewtwo has a Reflector yourself, and a reflected caped Shadow Ball, that'll kill it like 5%. It's ridiculous. Plus, it's really fast that you might not be able to cape it back. So Ally was looking for optimal damage to get those quick and early kills on the balloon weight that is Mewtwo. And Abadango is trying to keep Mario out and force him in the air to rack up damage with his aerials, tilts, and throws on Mario coming back to the stage. Abadango did a good job and giving Ally trouble landing with those neutral airs and the up tilts into further conversions, but even though Abadango got out to good leads against Ally, Ally was able to get enough on the first stock to make it competitive still, winning Game 1 and falling in Game 2. Game 3, Abadango takes the early lead for a third time, but Ally brings it back again. He did a great job of utilizing max damage off of throws at low percents, and then mix up what he did at the ledge to get those kills, even a couple of down smashes. So Abadango counterpicks to Dreamland and just shows the best part of the Mewtwo Mario matchup, putting Ally on notice, styling on him on Dreamland. But then Ally saved the best for last for the pivotal Game 5, bringing out the Flood on the Mewtwo teleport, securing an early kill, only to follow that up with a Bear Spike, catching those classic Mewtwo aerial approaches off the ledge, and 2 stocks Abadango out of the tournament. In the Nairo versus Void matchup, Nairo was winning off stage and Void was winning on stage. Void was playing a very bait and heavy Sheik, which seemed to be paying off for him, especially early on. Void was mixing up a lot of his recovery and how he killed, which you kind of need to do as Sheik. The match would have gone either way. It was highly competitive, but Nairo, with just that clutch movement at the end, ending it with a simple down smash conversion, sealed that Game 5. Then we have Nairo versus Mr.R. This time, Mr.R's Sheik was winning off stage, and Nairo was winning on stage. Nairo was dropping a lot of the easy punishes off of Paralyzer, but was still making Mr.R pay for being so aggressive, hitting him with up Bs out of shield, and then up airs and up tilts to continue combos into situations where Mr.R needed to make very dangerous decisions, and for the most part, that paid off for Nairo. Then in Game 5, Mr.R was avoiding a lot of Nairo's options, but he couldn't get a lot off of his own, which resulted in Zero Suit at high percents, which compounds Sheik's inability to kill. Nairo kept his composure and didn't shake off his strategy of going for those boost kicks and took it on the final stock. And that brings us to Void versus Dabuz. Now, we've seen more of Dabuz's Olimar lately, but none more so than Super Smash Con. Dabuz used Olimar to beat Fatality on the reverse 3 stock. He used Olimar against Scat, he used it against Void, and he used it with Anti. So with the Void Dabuz matchup, I don't know why he started out with Olimar. Usually he, counters to it after things aren't going well with Rosalina, but she wins that Sheik matchup, so I don't know why he wouldn't at least start it off with Rosie. Maybe he was really feeling it after beating Fatality on the reverse 3-0, but that doesn't change the Sheik-Rosalina matchup, so Void knocked some sense into him real quick, so Dabuz switched back to Rosalina. Maybe Luma's respawn took a little longer after being victim to that Knee of Justice, I don't know. So after that, Rosalina came back well rested and just called out Void with an up smash and took Game 2. Void's patience started to wear thin and started to become more aggressive, and Dabuz punished him for that. And just when Void started to turn around and take care of Luma, it was too little too late, and Dabuz took care of business, winning 3-1. More like Luma taking care of business though, getting all dem kills. And then that brings us to Dabuz versus Mr.R. So in this match, we just get a clear-cut example of Rosa and Luma winning that matchup. Mr.R couldn't really do anything, and Dabuz was selecting really aggressive options coming back on stage. Even if Mr.R tried to punish, he still might have paid for it depending on the situation. So Game 3, Mr.R was desperate for a better matchup, went to Bayonetta, which nobody has seen from Mr.R. I mean, it makes sense, Bayo has better hitboxes, damage against Luma, safer recovery in that matchup. It was speculated he was prepping for a Zero Suit matchup, but it wasn't polished and he easily lost that game to Dabuz. And that brings us to Grands, where Dabuz went up against Nairo. Now Dabuz goes Olimar again on game 1. I don't like it for game 1 because he needs to win 6 games for the the reset bracket, so I wouldn't recommend starting with Olimar on the first set. So he starts off really well actually, but Nairo real quick banished Olimar and all his little veggie friends quickly to the Shadow Realm. So Dabuz switches back to Rosa again, elects to go to Duck Hunt, and then Nairo is still dominant. So then Dabuz goes back to Olimar. Don't doubt the man, he's got more notes than a post-it factory. But in space, nobody can hear you scream, but we could, and it was the crowd screaming one more stock. But Dabuz couldn't quite hear him, taking advantage of Nairo SDing on the first stock and taking the second one on an up smash. Take it back to Earth in Town and City, and Nairo handily takes game 4 on a destructive 2-stock, winning SmashCon 2016. Nairo is back on top, he was in a long rut, a 9th seed in this tourney, going through absolutely everybody through winners and in Grands, taking out Rosalina and Luma and Olimar and all his Pikmin. Nairo, your Super Smash Con Smash 4 champion.
So that was decently safe.
Oh no!
Oh my God!
He did it! He did it!